You need to have a photo of your stuff. All you're going to do, and you can do it right now while you're here with me. All you're going to do is just like take a photo of like your white pages, front and back cover, and then your alternative pages. So like when you guys logged in, you saw I had that like little photo up. This is all I want to see. It's just going to be one photo that kind of just shows me a little bit of everything. Now my cover isn't done. I'm grading that you're ready. I'm not grading that this is done. Like I haven't put my title on here yet. I haven't put my name on here yet. But everything's cut. So if you haven't taken your photo yet, take it right now. And if you're like,
How do you do the ink?
my phone, the ink, oh, dude. So this is going to be SOB probably when I'm building this right now, but it's watercolor paper. So it's a little bit thicker. And so what I did is I dropped like watercolor and then with a straw, I like went and like blew it all crazy. It
That's
was extra
pretty.
paper I found in a box of mine. Aw, thanks. $50, just kidding. So your photo is really just that you're ready. That's what I want today by 4 p.m. So if you need to, you can always just use your Chromebook camera right now and just hold up your stuff. That's all I really want to see, that you're ready. So get that done. When you're done with that, you're going to put all of this stuff to the side. All you need is just one white piece of paper. You know, we had 21 pieces. We're going to use that one. So take a photo of your stuff that's ready. So that way you have that photo saved. You can turn it in by 4 p.m. today. And then you're going to need a sheet of white paper and a pen if you want. You don't have to, but if you want. So you have your one piece of paper. This is going to be our scratch paper to help us get ready for the book. What you want is you want it to be facing with that 6-inch edge on the left. Because this is going to be where we sew and bind our pages. So you don't want it tall. You want it to be one of your white pages because this we're going to throw away after we're done. Okay. So we're at the 6-inch line on the left. That's what we want. And what you're going to do is you're going to go from the bottom to the top and fold. From the bottom to the top.
What page is that?
This is just one of the white pages because you guys made 21. So 20 are going to be in the actual book, and this one is what we're using. So it's just a white page that you cut out. So we did that first fold. Now we're going to do our second. Same thing. From the bottom, bring it up to the top, and fold. Now, you guessed it. So we did 2 folds, right? We did this first one. Then we did the second one. Now we're going to do one more. Same thing from the bottom to the top. And you're trying to get it as best you can. Like, you know, just get a little harder.
Mr. Tunde.
Yes.
When I cut my 6x6 page, it's kind of crooked. Is that okay?
Yeah, you try your best, but yeah, it's okay. Like I was putting my little books together and I realized that some of my pages are totally off and I was like, oops, cut those wrong. So just as best you can. Okay. If you're just coming in, you're a little late and you're like, what the heck's happening? Don't worry, I'm gonna go over it again once I get everyone going. So we did our third fold. So now you have this little tiny straw kind of look. And what we're gonna do now, on the left, we're always thinking on the left because that's where we're going to sew. We're going to fold about a finger's width in. So starting from the left, I'm just going to bend this whole entire little thing. And just kind of check. I don't want it to be too big. I don't want it to be too small. Yeah, that's pretty good. With about a finger's width. And it's going to make this little like L crease. And that's what you want. And just pinchies it. So not too crazy, not yet. Okay, so everyone seems to be doing okay. So now, once you get that little piece folded, and about a finger's width, that's kind of how big you want that little guy to be. Now let's undo it. So open up your paper all the way up. And so what you'll notice is we have horizontal lines and one vertical line. That's what we want. I'm going to use a pen to mark my paper just so that way you guys can see, because it might be just a little too hard to just look at the paper. You don't have to, you can, it's up to you. What you'll notice is because we have these horizontal lines and then the one vertical line, is there's these little little points where they meet, like little crosses all down the way. At this first junction, where the first horizontal line and vertical line meet, that space, I'm going to do a little dot at that little cross. Then I'm going to skip, and then I'm going to do another little dot at that next junction. Then I'm going to skip, and then do another little dot. Then I'll skip one more, and then do my final dot. So this is a really easy way to measure. So that way you're like all of your dots are in a row, they're not like wonky. It's an easy way to, like without the ruler and all that jazz. So basically you just start at the first little junction, skip, do another one, skip, do another one. What you guys are gonna do is, with your needle, first just needle FYI, whenever we're done, put the needle back on the fabric. The only reason I say is, or ask you guys to do that, is this needle gets so lost on the table so quickly. Like you would think it'd be easy to find, and then you're like, where did that thing go? So whenever you're not using it, put it back in the fabric, especially if you're putting it away, because it'll like poke a hole in the bag and then eventually find its way out of the bag. So when you're not using it, put it back on the fabric. So at these junctions, we're going to use the needle and we're going to poke a hole. And also just, watch out for your fingers. I didn't equip you guys with Band-Aids. You need to go to each of those junctions and make a hole. So this paper is going to be kind of our guide to the rest of the book. So I'm going to put my needle back on my fabric. And again, if you came in a little late, don't worry, I'm going to go over this again. Just get all your stuff out. This I'm going to set to the side because I don't need it yet. I'm going to come back to it. Now I'm going to bring back all of my other pages. So I have my cover, and this is my back cover, and I have my alternative pages. What we're going to do right now is organize the book. Where are these alternative pages going to go? Do you want to do all of them in the front, in the middle, in the back? Do you want to intersperse white pages with alternative pages? Do your pages have like an up and down? Like this page is like any way could kind of be up or down, but This page kind of has an up and down, unless I want that chair to be floating in the sky. So what you want to think about is, how's your cover going to go? You know, which way is that going to be? Because when we get started, we're going to sew, and this is going to be how we opened up. So you're going to need to kind of figure out where your alternative pages are going to go, how are they going to look inside the book, that kind of thing. So get those ready. I'm going to disperse them between white pages. Because that sounds cool to me.
Wait, Ms. Artunde,
Yes.
for the alternative pages, we use one of
Mm-hmm.
the white papers that we cut out, right?
No. Your alternative pages should be anything but white paper. You can use
Oh,
like lined paper.
okay. And then for the cover, that's gonna be also another separate paper, right?
Yes. So technically you're going to have 27 pieces. So you have the 20 white, 5 alternative, whatever that is, anything that's just not white paper, and then your front and back cover.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm going to have this one last. Cover. So once you get your pages organized, now what you're going to do is simply get them all stacked. Like I kind of talked about this with some people in the beginning. Some of my pages aren't perfectly cut. I tried. I swear I measured. I measured every single little page. And then for some reason, my magazine pages are super long. That's okay. That happens. As long as they're cut neatly, that's really what I'm looking for. The side that we're going to sew, that 6-inch side, we need all of those to be at even and level. So you're just going to kind of do one of these little jobs and make sure that one edge is perfectly straight. So I like to take a look and just double check, because I have tissue paper in here. Sometimes that doesn't do this little like jiggy. Now this paper comes back. This is going to be our template. That way we didn't have to draw on the cover. So same thing. You might need to flatten it out a little bit. Again, line it up as best you can. Then once you have it even, grab your binder clip. You're going to make sure you get all of your pages. Make sure you get all of your pages and that you haven't moved this edge. You want this to be as straight as it possibly can. Now, if it's a little off, that's okay, but you want it to be as straight as possible. Tight binder clip, ouchie. So, if you haven't read my mind yet, yes. Now we're going to use the needle and we're going to punch holes through all of our pages. This isn't hard. It just takes a little time. Just go slow. What I like to do, because again, you can choose. Do not use a hammer with your needle. We need the needle later on. What I do is I'll start with the first hole, because we already made that hole with our needle. And I'll just grab like the first 3 pages, something really simple, nothing too thick. getting my fingers out of the way. If I do this, I'm going to stab myself. Don't do that. So I just kind of hold the corner and I make sure that this is laying down. If I do this and I try to push the needle through, it might come out at an angle, which isn't what I want. So I'll start the needle through, kind of put it, you know, it doesn't have to be straight up, but, you know, kind of straight. And then I'll just kind of like wiggle the back pages and like pushing the needle until I get it through. And then you kind of do a needle dance to make sure that that hole isn't super tiny. Typically, I will tell you guys to pick your poison. If you want to do one hole and go all the way through your book and then start the next one, you can. You know, basically you're just hole punching the whole entire book. I like to go one at a time. Like, for instance, I just did the first hole. Now I'm going to move on to the second hole. But it is up to you. You guys will decide. Just make sure to do that little needle limbo. If you feel like this needle is hard to hold, you know, let's say you're like, you know, I did get really thick embroidery needles, but sometimes they're still kind of tough to grip and like push. If you, for some reason, have, if you have a water balloon or a balloon at home, like a regular balloon, you can use that. I don't know why. I don't know why it works. It's something to do with the rubber of the balloon, but you can kind of wrap the top of the needle with that rubber and it helps you get like a better grip on the needle. Also, for those of you that are like getting close to finishing making all these sewing holes, don't take your binder clip off, whatever you do. Like our instinct is to be like, oh, I'm done. But when we start sewing, you're gonna have to make sure all those holes line up. So if you leave that binder clip on, they already are. You don't have to worry about it. And when you're going through your next pages, remember to put the stack down. Like when you're going to like make that other hole, don't have it lifted up because it might make the hole in a weird spot. And trust, this is like, you guys are my third class doing this. So now I'm like, oh, gotta be careful with that. So like I got my new section that I haven't hole punched yet. So I'm just gonna make sure to lay the top layer down and like get the needle set, kind of start like wiggling it until it goes through. Okay, everyone, if you finish like making the holes in the book, don't take off the binder clip. Also, go from the back and just do it again. Because what's gonna happen is the holes in the back are very, very tiny. And you really just kind of want to make sure that they're not super small because we're going to be threading this tomorrow. So it'll work, but you just kind of want to, you know, put the needle through and then do a little bit of that, you know, needle dance. Well, I take attendance because that's what my alarm just yelled at me. Okay, I'll finish you after this class.